I've had a great career when I sit back and look at it in retrospect. Ironically, you know, being in Chicago doing this interview, and Chicago kind of being one of my favorite cities in the world, because to me it's one of our last black cities. And that's why it's under attack. I mean, that shit ain't hard to see, you know, at any level. You know, you be a pretty ignorant motherfucker to just sit here and think that all of a sudden way up here there's all these fucking guns and drugs and violence. And, you know, before Barack Obama became president, you know, this was like one of the most loving, nourishing, I'd come here to recharge cities, because you'd meet somebody for the first time and they'd, you know, you genuinely felt like love for you and they ain't never met you before. And you go party with people and it was just fun and a good time. So, you know, the ironic thing is that, you know, one of my biggest game changers in the marketplace started here in Chicago, which was my Tanqueray Thursday programming that I started in '95. It's crazy. I got called to pitch Tanqueray against 5 national urban agencies, and I didn't even know what the fuck a pitch was, you know, and I called my boys, you know, I can share their names. Keith Cleanscale, he was the president of Vibe magazine at that time, and my other boy, Kevin Brockenbrow, he was at Uniworld at that time. I probably shouldn't have said that because he was at an agency and I was starting an agency, but he was still my man, so outside of it was just information. And they gave me the template of a pitch. So I took their template and spent a little bit of how I throw events and care about people's experience and curating it. And we put together a pitch with my partner at this time, God bless the dead, David Watkins. We put together a pitch that blew them off their feet. We won the business over every other African-American agency, and these were the top dogs in the country. And, you know, it's crazy. 2 months before we walked in that pitch, I didn't even know what the fuck a pitch was. And, you know, 2 months and 1 day after, you know, we had the business. So the biggest test within getting that business was they had this, Donnie Deutsch's agency created this campaign around, they took the bottle, the Tanqueray bottle, and tried to make it into a person. And that person was this character they created called Mr. Jenkins. And he was like this rich, white country club dude that always wanted to be around cool parties and at the cool events, you know. And they had already started these ads before I won the agency business. And it was like this stodgy white dude all around. So they said, you know, Chris, we need you to leverage our multi-million-dollar campaign that the Deutsch agency created into, you know, African America. And I was like, this shit don't translate. You know, don't get it twisted. We want premium products. We love premium products. We love quality. That's in our soul and in our spirit. But this old cat, he doesn't translate. But the only thing that stuck out when I saw the campaign was the name. Now, I don't know if it's because of slavery or whatever, but Mr. Jenkins, there's a lot of Jenkins in Africa and in Black America. There's a lot of families named Jenkins. So what I did was I took the name Mr. Jenkins and I made him into a real personality in the streets of Chicago. So I do things like I rented the Shedd Aquarium. I had Kid Capri and the Shedd Aquarium with Shaquille O'Neal came in that night. It was a great party we had that night. It was on a Thursday. It was a Tanqueray Thursday. We rocked the Shedd Aquarium so crazy, and I don't feel good about this, you know what I'm saying, because I love animals. But we like killed like 3 sharks in their shark tank because of the vibrations of the music. But to get to the party, so what I did was I took Mr. Jenkins, I sent invitations to every tastemaker in Chicago, personally inviting them to a Mr. Jenkins event. When you pulled up, I had Ferraris out front with Mr. Jenkins license plates on them. You know, I used to have the DJs shout out to Mr. Jenkins, but he wasn't a real person. But everybody thought it was like, yo, whoever this motherfucker is, when he shows his face, you know what I'm saying? It's on him, like, I mean, yo, fam, I'd be at the Hyatt, sitting at the bar, hearing women talk. Well, Mr. Jenkins called me personally and invited me to the party next Thursday. And I'm sitting there like, word? Like, how's that possible? But from a marketing perspective, I mean, we just really killed it. And it created this revival of the gin spirit category in Chicago. We actually increased case sales in the marketplace like 25%, which is some unheard of shit. And I didn't really technically do it like it's done now with a celebrity out front. Like, we just made an event that was just so dope once a month that you had to be at, that I think what really happened was the consumer felt like they owed the brand because the brand showed that it really cared, right? So like back in them days, like as close as you would get, you know, a liquor brand embracing, you know, African-American culture was like some table tents at a fucking soul food restaurant. Maybe somebody walking around with, yeah, we got a slow gin fizz for you to try today. But this was like the first time that we had budgets and we came into the marketplace and we created events at locations that, you know, everybody wasn't invited to. And, you know, we had the heavy hitters from the South Side, you know, in the event with Tom Burrell himself. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like, it was this gathering of great people in the city having fun. And what I think happened, and what I think a lot of brands would learn if they would just wake up and get their head out their ass, is an underserved market. When an underserved market is given a hug, like that shit lasts for like 15 years, you know? You don't have to tell them to give back. They will give back. And that's what we did. And I mean, I know it's alcohol and stuff, but you know, the event itself was at such a high level and so incredible that when people left it, they became Tanqueray drinkers. They embraced the brand. They talked about the brand. They turned their people onto the brand. They had the brand at their house, something they probably never ever did. It just created this whole sexy moment. And it basically changed the liquor game. I mean, I know I could say, you know, 100% that my Tanqueray marketing campaign from 95 to 97 is responsible for probably every one of these rappers' liquor brands right now, is responsible for a ton of programs that happen through a million different brands where they go out and they bring in African-American agencies, because we just tore the shit up and there was no denying. And we were moving the needle directly with the heavy hitters. Like back then, Penn Kavanaugh was the president of Shiflin and Somerset, and he would ask, what am I doing? And ask me to come see him personally. You know what I'm saying? There was another African-American gentleman called, his name was Bill Richardson, God bless his dead, man, a pioneer of our time and just corporate relations with people. And he'd always have my back. So I do crazy shit, you know what I'm saying, that work, but he'd always have my back and be the middle. I took the Tanqueray Thursday program from Chicago to DC. And then I also did special events. You know, it was smart of the brand to kind of give me the budget because I was on fire and just kind of let me do my thing, you know. And one thing I've always prided myself in is that, you know, if I'm rocking with you, it's like it's my shit. You know what I'm saying? I never looked at anybody I ever worked with or any event or anything I've ever done with an artist or celebrity as like they're a check. Always, you know, and this is stuff that I learned when I was young from some of my OGs, is that, you know, if you're gonna put your name on it, then, you know, everybody's watching. Kill that shit or kill yourself.